you first start reading comics, and what were the events that brought you to Comic Book Jones?
How did I first started reading comics? I read comics when I was a kid. And then, I found girls and I fucking stopped reading.
Do you remember specifically, like what were some of the first issues, first titles you started reading? Or
I remember, I as a kid growing up, I was mainly a Marvel kid. I like Superman and Batman, but that was about it as far as DC. Mainly Marvel stuff. And I collected until I was, say, about 13 years old, and then, you grow out of it, and not, I always liked comics, but, you started doing other shit, and then I started reading comics again, I would say in my 20s, when Death of Superman came out, and everybody thought it was going to be fucking worth money, and it ain't worth shit. And we were combing fucking comic book stores, like, oh, that fucking Superman's dead, we better get that fucking, and then it ain't worth fucking money. So, but I started working with comics. I started as an internship. I had to do an internship for my college, and Marvel was one of the choices that I had. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go do it at Marvel. I was an intern for Bob Harris back his first go around when Bob Harris when he was editor in chief of Marvel. So I was his editor. I was his intern. Ben Rabb was his assistant at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I did my internship there. Then I did basically some odd jobs for Marvel. I filled in as assistant editor. I worked in the photo stack room. I eventually got a job working for Marvel.com, doing artwork. A lot of people don't know, I went to school for art. I was graphic design major, yeah. And an English minor. So I started doing artwork for Marvel.com. They needed people who knew the characters to write shit, and I happen to know the characters, and that's where all the writing started. From there, then I started pitching Marvel. I got Wolverine, do
you remember what the first thing you wrote was for Marvel?
The first thing I wrote, I think, is I co-wrote because Joe Quesada was writing Iron Man at the time, and he was obviously starting to do some bigger stuff, and he needed a co-writer because he didn't have the time. So he asked me. He knew I wanted to break in. He asked me if I would co-write Iron Man with him. So I think that's the first thing I wrote.
So he was like plotting, and you were pretty much like dialogue almost.
It was what
half and half.
I don't even remember.
Okay.
It's a while ago. He was, I was happy to be along for the ride. At that point.
Didn't matter what you were doing.
Yeah, but the stuff we were doing on Iron Man got some good word of mouth and stuff, and that's when Mark Powers offered me Wolverine. And then I I started working for Wolverine, and then I quit my fucking job at Marvel.com, and the rest is that. So,
a lot of people don't know who Mark Powers is.
He used to be an editor for the X line.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can tell that you're a fan though of like the history of just Marvel though, because your fucking inside jokes kill me. Like your little like quips. Like there was one joke in Heist that made me actually laugh out loud today when I read it.
Infinity Heist.
Infinity Heist.
There was one particular joke that made me actually laugh out loud.
What was it?
Which one was it?
It's when they go into the bar and they run into who's supposed to be Taskmaster.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
And he's like, what, did you come in still-man in the fucking car, or did you come in cockfighter?
See, now if people read Infinity Heist, one thing is, this happens sometimes. There was a little mix-up, and they had to change. They changed. There's a scene where it's supposed to be Taskmaster, but Constrictor. Okay, and the scene doesn't work as well with Constrictor as it would with
They bring up in like a thought bubble to like Constrictor, the most like deadliest man in the Marvel universe. And I just went like, yeah,
not really.
Oh man, they just kept reading the book.
We're gonna change that for the trade. We'll change that. So.
And what were the events that brought you to CBJ?
I met this asshole.
He put his hand toward me.
Yes, toward you. For those who cannot see, I met him through actually Ben McCool, right? Am I correct?
A mutual buddy.
Yeah, I think we were watching football. Was that?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Ben had me meet him one day in a bar. I think it was during New York Comic Con, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Were the Steelers
Last year or
I don't know. Fuck the Steelers. I ain't the Steelers. I hate the fucking Steelers. But he said, "Yeah, come watch the game." Well, yeah, I think it was at Lansdowne, right?
Yeah.
So Lansdowne,
Lansdowne Road.
yeah, he happened to be there. We got drunk, and he's like, "Hey, come sign at my store." And that's it. There you go.
So now, Infinity Heist came out today, issue 1. That's what you were here signing. You were here signing Man Bat, which came out, which is actually Detective Comics 23.4.
Whatever the fuck.
But now, last week, Penguin came out, which was Batman 23.3.
Yes.
And I don't know if a lot of people are aware of it, but the big Marvel event book, which is Infinity, which was issue 3, it outsold Infinity issue 3.
Applause for that, please.
Yeah.
Again, it's worth the big Yeah, I saw that Blue and Cool. I was like, yeah, motherfucker. Who can beat Thanos? Me and the fucking Penguin. That's who can beat Thanos. I was very happy to see that. That was totally unexpected. That book has done great. I mean, it's got rave reviews, and I mean, for it to be the top seller of last week, I don't think anybody thought that was going to happen.
The Penguin's gotten a lot of play in the New 52. He had his own miniseries for a little while.
His Villains book was awesome.
And,
Thank you.
But what's really cool about that issue is it's just a story of him being an asshole, him being a jerk.
It's basically, I mean, one of the things DC told me to do with these two books is show villains being villains. Okay.
Yeah.
And that one in particular, I mean, Penguin, you know, he's been in the New 52. He just got his ass kind of handed to him by this Emperor Penguin fucking dude, and he just got his empire back. So, you know, people are thinking like, well, you know, maybe this guy's not, you know, if somebody could take him down, maybe he's not all that. Well,
Maybe he's a pushover.
yeah,
He's not the big shot he was.
He's not the big shot he was, and you know, he shows you in this issue. He's fucking.
He takes his foot back.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that much.
But I like the fact that the way you handled it was not in just, you know, an overt, in front of everybody, beat down type thing.
This is my
you know.
muscle.
Yeah,
Listen
exactly.
to me. Yeah.
I mean, like, as far as putting this together, was it like, you know what, I'm gonna handle it this way, or did you flip flop a little bit? I mean, did you want him to have a public display of who the fuck he is?
Well, there's one thing I did in particular. You notice very early on in the book, okay, when those guys are trying to swindle his casino,
Yeah.
he doesn't have his goons take them out.
Right.
He takes them out himself.
Right.
Okay. I wanted to show that. You know what? I think we always have.
It's a message.
Yeah.
Especially in that kind of world, that's a message.
It's always something that we show. What is it? Want to get stabbed here? Oh, all right. The guy's got a fucking pocket knife and he pulls it out. I'm getting shanked here during the podcast. This guy, I'm still not trusting this guy. Oh, what do you got in your hand there? What is that? Bottle. Yeah, bottle opener. You're my dick. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna get shanked here, this motherfucker. Anyways, so one thing in particular I wanted to do, I wanted to show the Penguin is not just the guy saying, hey, you know, tell his goons to go kick these guys in. He can do it himself. You know, I think we haven't seen a lot of that with the Penguin.
No. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people, that's what piqued their interest about this book, is the fact that, you know what,
He got his hands dirty.
right, but he also bided his time. He did it in a very cobblepot type of fashion. You know, he had him for dinner, and you know,
he did his work the way you thought he was.
framed them,
But he did his other work the way like pre-52. This would have been a funny story.
Yeah.
You would have been the fucking Penguin doesn't do this.
Yeah.
Right.
But now, like,
But you know what?
Yeah.
But to me, like, you see, like this book was a perfect example of what
Villains Month should be.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to, you know, get into what, I mean, like, to me, they should be what these villains are
The
about.
clockwork.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
How they work, not an origin.
And for a lot of people who, because there are a lot of people who were Marvel fans or weren't reading comics recently and have jumped into comics, Or, excuse me,
It's disgusting.
yeah. Oh, no, I burp a lot, I fart a lot too.
That's good to know. Talk about nipples again.
Yeah. who are jumping into it and maybe don't know the characters as well. I think it's a perfect setup for it. So kudos to you, bro.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Right. Okay, here we go. No, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. It's very Godfather-ish. You know what I mean?
Yes,
There's definitely a wink to that, you know? As a matter of fact, when he's blackmailing the governor,
Yes.
one of the things that I didn't get to
Spoiler.
yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, it's a big fucking spoiler.
Yeah.
But, you know. I wanted to do an homage where, you know, on the TV is a scene from The Godfather. You know?
Okay, yeah.
It very much is a very Michael Corleone moment
Yeah.
where he frames, you know.
So in your mind, right away when writing this, right away you're thinking Penguin gangster.
He's got to show that he's fucking can't be fucked with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's got to show he wants to show that in a big way. You know.
And he's one of the smartest of Batman's villains.
Yeah.
He's one of the only ones of that rogues gallery who isn't regularly an Arkham.
Yeah, he walks the
Right.
streets.
Yeah,
He's a
has
wheeler
business.
dealer. He owned his own casino.
I mean, he's essentially the kingpin of
the Batman world.
Of the Batman world.
world.
Yeah.
Him and Two-Face always gave me the gangster attitude, and
I love
and
Two-Face.
they never gave it off.
Yeah.
Like, they never write it that way.
I would if
Two-Face was another really good
Two-Face
villain
was.
with the
Yeah.
book.
I would love to do something with Two-Face. I love
I can see you
Two-Face.
killing Two-Face.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest with you, I mean, after your Penguin book, I'd love to see you do something with Two-Face and the fucking Penguin.
Oh.
I would. Batman villains in general. Let's face it, Batman's got the best rogues gallery. The only rogues gallery that's ever comparable is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, those are the two best in comics. I would love to do, and you know, chances are I will be. Look, I am going to be doing some more Batman stuff. You know,
There you go. I love the fact that Frank is in control.
Frank control goes on. But yeah, I love Batman's villains. I would do anything with Batman's villains. You know, as soon as they gave me the call for Mike Martz, who I've worked with for years, editor on, you know,
Yeah.
the top guy on the Bat book editorially, he said, hey, you know, you want to do? I was like, fuck yeah, man. You know, whatever. You know, I want you to do two of them. Fuck yeah, I'll do. However you want to give me, I'm in there. So
That's awesome.
Fuck it.
Now let's turn the gears to what came out this week, Man Bat.
Man Bat, yeah. Which
Give everybody a rundown on Man Bat.
Man Bat. Man Bat's a little bit of a different story than Penguin. Penguin is an out-and-out villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's Man Bat. It's a little more gray. You know.
He's kind of like Kane to me. Like,
Yes.
like the whole clone saga in like Spider-Man in the 90s.
Right.
Like Kane's not really a bad guy, but he looks like the bad guy. But he tries to do good, but he
Yeah,
doesn't.
but you know what it reminds me of too, Man Bat?
Morbius.
Man Bat makes me think a lot too of Kirk Connors, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That could be argued. Yeah. You know, or the Hulk even.
But
you
that's
know,
going back to Spider-Man and Batman.
Yeah.
Rogues galleries.
Yeah.
You're gonna have mirrors.
Yeah, you do. And Kirk Connors is not Kirk Connors. See, you know,
Yeah.
you fucked me up. You forgot.
I'm sorry.
That's it. Now the guy's gonna stab me with the fucking.
Please, Frank, don't hit me.
You did.
Kirk Langstrom, okay, is a good guy. He means well, okay, and it's a classic Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story. It's the the road to hell is paved with
Beautiful.
exactly.
His wife could be a bitch though sometimes.
Well, she's a well, obviously, and we basically pick up right from John Lehman, who's a buddy of mine. He's done a great job with those backup stories he's been doing in Detective.
Yeah.
And we picked up right where he left off. He has to beat his wife.
Okay.
The last time he fought Francine, she kicked the living shit out of him. So, I mean, do you want me to spoiler alert?
I just want to ask you real quick. Did you and John, before you wrote this, did you talk to John a lot?
It's funny that you said that because March offered me the Man Bat and the Penguin one-shots. And in the middle of it, I have already written the Man Bat.
Yeah.
John writes to me in March and said, "Oh, you guys are doing a Man Bat. You know, would you want to switch?" And he wanted me to switch with him and Clayface.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally I wouldn't give a shit. I would do it, but I was in the middle. I was like, dude, I'm too far in. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I would have switched with him because he, you know. But he did a great job with Man Bat in those Detective Comics, and we pick up right where he left off.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to deal with his wife and now. Do you guys want me to spoil the
No,
comic?
go.
Okay.
I'll
Did
still
you say
read it.
no? Was that? Were you about to say
I
no?
haven't read it yet, but okay.
No, I won't
Please.
spoil. I won't spoil.
No, you have to. You have to. No, just so
I'll
you
be
know,
honest,
this doesn't air until Friday, so go get it.
And also from my perspective, if you spoil a plot point, that doesn't really matter to me.
And also, you're on a podcast, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, should have read it already. Hazards. Be prepared next time, asshole. Anyway, so what happens is he goes down the road. He combines. So her formula is different than his formula. He combines the two formulas. And what it is, it's a road to destruction. He tries to be, Batman is gone. He tries to become Batman's replacement.
Gotham's protector.
Right, and what you have is, and slowly, we do it with a diary, a journal. And slowly you start to see him deteriorate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's a part addiction, part his own hubris, where he thinks, oh,
He can do it.
Yeah, exactly. So by the end you see that
Hubris?
yeah, it's a big fucking word.
Yeah, what's that?
It means your mother. That's it.
Oh! Well,
Your mother. I know it's a nice one. All right, I got it. You offer me
Revenge is a
zucchini
saint.
pie and everything. I'm a scum.
Go on.
But yeah, so it's part of his own vanity that he thinks, what fucked her up is not going to fuck me up.
Yeah.
Well, in the end it gets him too.
Yeah.
So.
I can't wait to read that.
Mm-hmm. No, not that. So now,
Let's go
what's
look at
is there anything coming down the pipe you could mention, tease?
Well, I got Infinity Heist.
I'm really looking forward to where that goes after the first issue.
Infinity Heist, a 4-issue limited series.
4-issue limited series.
Yes.
And there's a lot of twists and turns to it. It's there's shit going on that you don't know about.
Yeah.
Let's put it
Can
that
I
way.
ask you a question though, Frank? For anybody who's reading the core book Infinity, how important is it for them?
It's
to
I
what?
was literally going to bring it up that people who aren't reading Infinity, by the first issue sock, the Infinity storyline gets pushed out within 5 panels.
Yeah.
The Avengers are gone.
Yeah.
To give them a base plot, the Avengers leave. Blizzard and was that supposed to be Whirlwind? Is that
That's Whirlwind, yeah.
Whirlwind are sitting on top of a roof. And they're
I
like,
fucking love World.
and they're like, okay, they're gone. Let's go do this. And they go to rob a bank.
Yeah.
And that's how the book starts. Is that the Avengers are off Earth. Okay, let's do this shit now.
Basically, I kind of treat it like, when your parents went away and you threw a fucking party.
Yeah, where you're on the phone with they're about to call everybody. And you're out of driveway.
Yeah, exactly. Order the pizzas, order the fucking drugs, order the fucking
Cakes,
hookers. Exactly. So, that's basically.
And you can read it without having to read any Infinity.
Yeah, no,
because it's going to be
100%.
its own story.
Yeah.
It's we talk about that stuff is going on in the background.
Yeah.
We wanted to tell a story that you could basically read and not have to, get 50 comics.
Yeah.
Right.
If you know
Yeah.
why the Avengers left Earth, that's the only
Yeah.
question you would have out of the first issue.
See, that's the
It's
funny
why
thing
they're
though about
Exactly.
certain tie-ins. I mean, like and Marvel does this, and I think Marvel does it well. There's certain tie-ins that come in with other series that you don't. Everybody always. People,
What do I need?
Comic book buying veterans are like, oh, I don't want to buy all the fucking tie-ins. But it's a different day and age now, and there's certain tie-ins you can buy in and just fucking enjoy them for what they are.
And that's what we want.
Thunderbolts is one of those. Thunderbolts, the first issue, the first time, what it is the builders are at Earth. Like
I would love to see Frank on fucking Thunderbolts.
You-
Not for nothing.
that group of characters would be cool. Things like that, where it's kind of like loosely around what's going on, because New Avengers is what's happening on Earth during Infinity.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts is Manhattan, and that's all they fucking give a shit about is what this one island is dealing
Right.
with.
So now, is Heist the story that you pitched?
It's basically editor Tom Brennan from Marvel. We've been talking about doing something. We've worked together on smaller things in the past, and we talked about doing something, and we wanted to do a kind of villain. He wanted me to do a villain thing with him.
Yeah.
And we came up with a Heist thing, and we said, hey, let's pitch it for this.
Yeah.
You know, and originally it wasn't just Iron Man villains. It was just going to be Marvel Universe villains. But once we figured out, okay, what's the ultimate get in the Marvel Universe? The ultimate get, you know, if you're a thief, what do you fucking want? You want to rob Tony Stark, okay? Because that shit, you know, all that technology, all the fucking armors, that goes right on the black market. You go
fuck Cap Shield.
No,
fuck the hammer you can't pick up. Fuck the bow.
Yeah.
Fuck the Baxter building.
You want the room full of equipment, like guns.
You want the shit, exactly. You want the weaponry that people are gonna want. You know. So once we figured out, it was like we wanted to use Spy Master. We always wanted to use Spy Master. I think Spy Master is one.
When I read that name, I went, ooh.
I love Spy Master.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the most underutilized villains.
I agree.
Because if you remember early on in Iron Man's career, he fights Spy Master, and Spy Master he gave him a hard time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And over the years, you know, maybe not so much. And you know, I think one of the things that this series does is show you, hey, Iron Man's villains can be cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we've.
They're not just guys in suits.
Yeah, you know,
It's
it's
just
not
the
like it's not the suit of the month. It's not the armor of the month. It's you know I brought fucking Unicorn back. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, I wanted to do something. I was like, fucking Unicorn, boom, I'm taking him, man. I want to do something with him. Because, you know, if you can do something cool with a guy named fucking Unicorn, you can do something cool with anybody. But, you know, part of this thing is you want to show, hey, Iron Man's got cool rogues. I mean, they don't use his rogues much in the comics, you know? So,
and if they do, it's usually just strictly for Iron Man.
And
you know, they don't cross over.
Mandarin.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
They'll make Detroit Steel. They'll make up another guy.
Right. Oh, you get Titanium Man, and shit like that.
But it's all just guys in suits.
Radioactive Man.
Right.
Like we had Crimson Dynamo in the Ironmonger bus. You know how fucking funny it is? Like, who the hell's that? Ironmonger. Who does he fight? Iron Man.
Right.
Who's this guy? Crimson Dynamo.
Who's he
fights Iron Man?
Yeah.
How'd you guess? It's a guy in a suit.
I think we only have one guy, Titanium.
Tiny.
See, I always liked Titanium Man because it was just like, he's this big, giant, robot-looking fucking guy, you know what I mean?
Kind of goofy, but not
Yeah,
not super goofy.
I always fucking dug him, Titanium Man.
I like villains books. I like when they use like the Wrecking Crew again, like when they use just groups of villains doing shit.
Yeah. Bad guys doing bad guy shit.
DC does that more than Marvel does, it seems.
That's why I like Dark Reign.
Dark Reign is the shit.
Like the hood was.
I love Dark Avengers so much.
I love Dark Reign too. I did some shit on Dark Reign too.
Warren Ellis,
yes,
Thunderbolts.
you did Lethal Legion.
I did Lethal Legion.
Yep.
Yeah, Lethal Legion.
Dark Reign gave me one of my favorite Avengers moments when Bullseye was really freaking out, and then Doc just gives him a kiss on the lips and changes the pheromones to make him calmer. And Bullseye has no idea what the fuck's happening, and he just gets angrier.
Yeah. I miss Penance.
Penance was cool. Penance was a cool little plot twist.
Yeah.
Dark Reign was fun. Yeah, Dark Reign was fun. I did that, and I did the Maid Man. Then I used Spy Master.
Yeah, you did the Maid Man.
And that was the big reveal. I bring back the original Spy Master and show him that hey, you know what, this fucking guy's been making lesser guys assume his identity. You know,
You make Spy Master bigger.
Yeah.
Than what he was in the last 20 years.
Sure. That's
Just character-wise, not even like story, just depth. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And the story, I love the story I did with him because it's basically Norman Osborn just fucking with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Where he robs his last picture of, you know, it's a very subtle thing, but he robs the last picture of his family, him and his family together, and sets it on fire. It's a total dick thing to do.
Yeah.
So as far as what's out now, like, is there anything that you get from other creators that you've got to read, you've got to look at, or you completely stay away from reading anything?
No, I you know what? Unfortunately I don't have the time really to read fucking everything that's out there. You know, every now and then if somebody says something's really good, I'll take a look at it. But for the most part, I only have time for research. You know,
Right.
to give me fucking stacks of books to read. You know, I had to research all this fucking Infinity shit. I had to research all the fucking Man Bat stuff. I had to research all this Penguin stuff. The Pride and Prejudice. I read that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's sometimes there's only so many hours in a day. You know, I'm also, you know, I got a family. I'm playing video games. I'm doing, you know. So, but you know, like buddies of mine will give me, like Jimmy Palmieri is a good friend of mine. He'll give me some of his stuff. Garth Dennis is a good friend of mine. He'll give me some of his stuff. Basically, mine and my friend's stuff. Otherwise, who the fuck's got the time?
I mean, has there ever been a time where you're going through research and you're like, you know what, I want to I want to continue. You know, this shit is just so good. I've got to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can't think of anything offhand.
Okay.
You said you write video games. Somebody actually was really upset before they didn't bring them Marvel vs. Capcom 3 box with them.
Right. People like see.
I didn't know you wrote the story to that.
A lot of people don't. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Honestly, Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
I know what Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Yeah. Follow. Oh yeah, he's got a shirt on. Yeah.
I didn't even notice it was a Servbots. You've been wearing that shirt for less than a week, so I didn't notice it was Servbots.
I mean, we were talking earlier, and you were saying how, you know, you're doing a lot of, you know, you're doing almost a lot more video game stuff than you are comic stuff.
Any other games you're like,
I have two that are going to be announced next week.
Okay.
Both Marvel games.
Cool.
Really? Very cool.
You work only with Marvel, like Marvel-esque games, or?
It's not that like I'm exclusive. I'm not exclusive with anybody.
Freelance, yeah.
I'm a freelancer, but it's just, you know.
Work that comes easy. Like, you just know what to do.
They offer me to work, I'm going to fucking do it. My money's a lot better than comic money,
I can
folks.
wholeheartedly imagine.
That's actually a question I have for you. I can only think two other writers who do both Marvel and DC. How do you go about it?
It's, as a matter of fact, a couple of people have even said that today. I am one of the few writers that I can work for both companies because I have friends on both sides, I have connections on both sides that they don't get mad at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, usually one guy will, you know, he'll work for DC and he'll just work for DC.
Exactly.
One guy will work for Marvel. I think me and Palmiotti are the only ones that can
Yeah, when he said two other writers, I was going to
say Christos.
Yeah,
Charles Soule's doing
Christos,
Thunderbolts
Christos.
and Red Lanterns. And
there's only a small handful.
It's a small handful because usually, you know,
Contracts.
Falkov.
it's not even just, you know what, the days of contracts are pretty much over.
Yeah,
Exclusives, you're starting to see it less and less now.
Well, Ramirez just gave up. No, at Marvel, like a couple months ago, Ramirez Jr.'s
Oh, did he?
gone from Marvel, yeah. That's why he's just doing Kick-Ass. He hasn't done anything else.
Mhm.
After Cap, that was his last book for Marvel for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can make money off of the Kick-Ass trades.
Or the movie.
Yeah.
The movies that fucking come out.
Do some creator-owned stuff.
I mean, that's
Oh,
what
well,
I'm
actually,
focused
that
on.
was my next question for Frank. If Frank has any creator-owned characters coming out.
I have actually a couple of, I have never done creator-owned stuff. I haven't had the time, unfortunately. I've been doing, you know, busy with video games and comics and stuff, and animation and shit. But I'm going to be doing these obviously Captain Brooklyn with me, Jimmy and Amanda, which we announced a while ago, but Amanda had the little thing called Watchmen to do. You know what I mean? It's kind of delayed it, but she promises. I just saw Amanda at.
Now, when you're talking about Amanda, you're talking
about Amanda Conner.
There you go. All right.
Here we go. One for Amanda. Jimmy and Amanda are very good friends of mine, so it's great that we're working on Captain Brooklyn, and she promised me that.
Can I interject? From what you told me a while ago, when you and I, Captain Brooklyn is basically based on you.
Well, I don't know, there's story elements and maybe not me, but I remember seeing the artwork when Amanda first drew the Captain Brooklyn character, and I look at it and I'm like, Jesus, this fucking guy looks familiar. So she basically based the look on me of Captain Brooklyn. And it's funny because we do that all the time. Quick story. Back to Brooklyn with Jimmy and Garth.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, does everybody know what that story's about?
Back to Brooklyn. Hell yeah.
Okay.
I love that book.
Jimmy comes to me and he's like, "We want you to be the basis of the villain in Back to Brooklyn." Okay. Now you guys are laughing because you know.
Yeah.
Okay? They're like, "We want you to be the bad guy. We're gonna come. We're gonna take pictures of you, and the artist is gonna draw you and everything." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, fine. You know." Yeah, okay, cool. So then, when I was working one night, me, Garth, and Jimmy, okay, and Jimmy's like, "Yeah, you know, Frank's gonna be the mobster, the bad guy in Back to Brooklyn." He goes, "Does Frank know what the story's about?" And I'm like, no, what's the story is about? And spoiler alert, the fucking guy's a child molester. I'm like, fuck you, man. Don't be a fucking child molester.
Reasons that you don't tell somebody what the character is gonna be.
Have they taken the pictures yet?
No, I didn't do any of that shit yet. So nice. Hey, Dad's in a comic book. He's a fucking child molester.
Daddy's he's a better ass.
No, fuck you guys. I ain't fucking doing that. Yeah, no.
So what will you be doing your first prison signing? You're my favorite.
Yeah.